Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope that you are fine at your home. My name is Vinod Kumar, and I am going to teach you history and civics for class 6th. So, first of all, you should know what is history and civics. Number one, what is history? History is the study of the past, specifically the people, societies, events, and problems of the past, as well as our attempts to understand them. It is a pursuit common to all human societies. Then, what is civics? Civics is the study of the rights and duties of citizenship. My dear students, your book for this session is Logman History and Civics for class 6, and the writers of this book are Jasmine Dhillon and Vipul Singh. So let us begin with our chapter number 1 of history, that is Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamia is situated in present day Iraq. So in this chapter, my dear students, you will learn about the location and extent of the Mesopotamian civilization, the characteristics of this civilization, and the contribution of the Mesopotamians, the decline of the Mesopotamian civilization. So let us begin with our chapter. So I will be explaining you paragraph wise. So with this I resume with the chapter. The beginning of the Metal Age was marked by large settlements at many places, which gradually evolved into large civilizations. The ancient civilizations which arose during the Bronze Age include the Mesopotamian civilization, the Egyptian civilization, the Harappan civilization, and the Chinese civilization. These great civilizations developed on the banks of rivers because of several reasons. During the Metal Age, my dear students, during the Metal Age, large settlements of the people started from one place to another, and these large settlements of the people only they turned into the civilization. And during the Bronze Age, different civilization came into existence. Among them was the Mesopotamian civilization, the Egyptian civilization, the Harappan civilization, and the Chinese civilization. And these civilizations have developed on the banks of the river for several reasons. For example, the two reasons are as follows. Number one, the primary reason was agriculture, which was the main occupation of the people. Agriculture depends on the reliable water supply. As you all know that agriculture has been always the backbone of the people. So for the agriculture, a continuous water supply is required. So people settled down near the banks of the rivers, or the civilization developed near the banks of the rivers, because continuous and unstoppable water supply was available for the agriculture. And one question arises: what is agriculture? Agriculture, under the agriculture, growing of crops and the rearing of animal comes. So the river valleys provided a regular supply of water. The annual floods in these rivers brought silt and made land fertile. And because of the rivers only, the floods which came annually or seasonally, that flood brought a lot of silt with it, and because of the silt only, the land became fertile. And as you all know that fertile land or fertile soil is very necessary for the growth of the crops and as well as for the agriculture. So the next point is, the rivers also became the means of transporting people and goods from one place to another. Easy transportation encouraged trade and commerce and led to the emergence of cities and towns. Actually, the people also they were able to transport goods from one place to another, as people followed the water transport. Water transport means people use ships and boats to carry their goods from one place to another to sell them. And with this, the the emergence of new cities and towns came into existence. Now, our first topic is the Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamia, actually, the Mesopotamia is a Greek word which means the land between two rivers. Mesopotamian civilization was located between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. So my dear students, I am just showing you where the Tigris and the river Euphrates is located. In this map, the location of the Mesopotamian civilization, you can see Euphrates and Tigris is there. So this is the actual view of the Mesopotamian civilization. So Mesopotamian civilization was located between the two rivers Tigris and Euphrates in modern Iraq. As you must be aware of the Iraq. Where is the Iraq? So around 5000 BCE, small settlements began to emerge in the fertile plains between these two rivers in the southern Mesopotamia. Actually, how the Mesopotamian civilization came into existence, when small settlement of the people, they settled down near the banks of the rivers of the Tigris and the Euphrates, and those small settlements, they turned into large settlements, and then these large settlements, it gave rise to a Mesopotamian civilization. Then these settlements gradually developed into the first civilization, popularly known as the Sumerian civilization. Then these settlements first they were known as the Sumerian civilization. Then the land of the Sumerians was called Sumer. The Sumerians established a highly advanced civilization by 3500 BCE, which flourished for about 1500 years. The Sumerian civilization was followed by the Babylonian and the Assyrian civilization. Babylonia was located on the northeastern side of Sumer, while Assyria was situated on the highlands in the north. You can see in this map the location of Mesopotamian civilization. The river Tigris is there, then river Euphrates is there, then just side by side of this river, the Babylonia is there, the Assyria is there, Assur is there, then the Ur is there. Then characteristics of the Mesopotamian civilization. The characteristics of Mesopotamian civilization are as follows. Society. The society was divided into upper class and lower class. Then in the upper class, the rulers and kings and their family members, priests and high officials belonged, and in the middle class, merchants, farmers and artisans. Then last for the lower class, and in the lower class, slave belonged. Then family. Regarding the family structure, means the men were the head of the family, and women used to do the household work, and they were also involved in trade and commerce also. So family was a basic unit of the Mesopotamian society. The society was mainly patriarchal. Actually, my dear student, the patriarchal means the society in which the male member is the head of the family. Means in the Mesopotamian civilization, in the family, the man was the main head of the family. So with the father being the head of the family, means the men were the head of the family. Women enjoyed some rights, means they were given less rights. So women could only engage in trade and hold property, means women have minimal rights. So for example, they could do the trade, or they could own the property, means like houses. Men, however, enjoyed more privileges than women. Then question arises, how the men enjoyed more privileges than women? Because The men were the head of the family, and the society during the Mesopotamian civilization, the society was patriarchal, which means that in a particular family, the male member was the head of the family. Then city states. The characters of the Mesopotamian, the next characteristics of the Mesopotamian civilization is city state. Some of the Mesopotamian towns and cities included Assur, Ur, Nineveh, Nimrud, Kisha, and Lagos. These cities were called temple towns. Which of these cities were called temple towns, my dear student? Assur, Ur, Nineveh, Nimrud, Kish, and Lagos. They were known as the temple towns because they were built around the temple. Public buildings and marketplaces were built around the shrine area. Shrine area is the place where the worshipping is being done, or the जो बोलते हैं means the pilgrimage area. Later these temples town grew into city state. Then after some times, what happened in the Mesopotamian civilization, the temple towns, for example Assur or Nimrud and Kish and Lagos, they grew into the city state, and they had their own rulers and ancestors, and these city states had their own ruler, means they had their one individual ruler, which were called ancestors. And one question arises that what is city state? City state is an independent state consisting of a city and the area around it. Then our next topic is town planning, means how did the people live in the Mesopotamian civilization. The Mesopotamian cities were more or less followed uniform pattern. These cities were divided into three parts, means the sacred area, which had a ziggurat. Actually, my dear student, the ziggurat was the stepped temple. So I'm just telling you the meaning of the ziggurat once again. Ziggurat means stepped temple towers built in honor of gods or the city states. So there were different gods were there. So they were worshipped under the ziggurat, which was the sacred area. Means the town planning was as follows: the sacred area, which had a ziggurat, the walled city, and the outer town. The people lived in the walled city and the outer town. The population of the Mesopotamian civilization lived in the walled city and the outer town. The streets were unpaved and without drains. As you all know that in the modern world we have the drains, and the streets or the roads are paved with different rocks, or the means they are cemented, or the pakka road are there. So in the Mesopotamian civilization there were no drains and the streets were unpaved. Okay? There were no pakka roads. The houses were built of mud bricks, and in those times the houses were not built properly, means they were for building of the house the mud bricks were used. The rooms in each house were grouped and around the central courtyard. Then what was the occupation of the Mesopotamian people? Number one, that is agriculture and domestication of animals. In the beginning also I have told you that agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Means under the agriculture the rearing of the animals come and the growing of crops comes. So what is agriculture? Means agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Mesopotamian people developed an excellent system of irrigation. Means they use irrigation, means सिंचाई, मतलब irrigation means the supply of water to the crops. So Mesopotamian people were also very good at irrigation facility. Means they developed different mechanical system to drain the water of the river to their farming fields. So for irrigation, what they did, they developed means they built dikes. Means dikes were built to control the flood water from the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. Means this Mesopotamia was situated just between two rivers, that was Tigris and Euphrates. So means most of the means annually the rivers were totally flooded, so they had built dikes. What then the question arises, what are dikes? Dikes are a long wall or embankment built to prevent flooding from sea or river. Means dikes were just like a small structure of dams. They were used for controlling the flood. Means they were used for preventing the flood water to enter the cities. Then the Mesopotamians are also believed to have invented the ox-drawn plow. मतलब उन लोगों ने बैलगाड़ी बनाया जिससे मतलब वो बैलगाड़ी है ना, आपके जो ऑक्स होता है बैल, उसको खींच सकते हैं. एंड द व्हील्ड कार्ट ऑल्सो. दीज टू टाइप्स ऑफ vehicles were developed by or invented by Mesopotamia, which were ox-drawn plow and the wheeled cart. The Mesopotamians grew wheat, barley, fruits, and pulses. And some types of crops which were grown by Mesopotamians were wheat, barley, and even fruits and pulses were also grown by Mesopotamians, because they had a plenty of fertile soil because of the river Tigris and Euphrates. Then people also domesticated animals such as cows, goats, sheep, and donkeys. And however, in the Mesopotamian civilization, animals were domesticated. For example, cows and goats. From cow, goats, and sheep, the milk was obtained, and from the sheep, the wool was also obtained. And however, donkeys were used for beast of burden, and on the other hand, oxes were also used as the beast of burden for pulling the ox-drawn plow and the wheeled cart also. Then Mesopotamians were also very good at the art and craft. So regarding the art and craft, you can just see in this picture the details of Babylonian city wall in Pergamon Museum, Berlin. This is one of the wall which was built during the Babylonian reign. So now I will discuss about the art and craft. The stable food supply through agriculture allowed people to engage themselves in other activities. In the Mesopotamian civilization, people had a very good amount of food grains and fruits to eat, and enough food and fodder was available for the people as well the animals. So this gave enough time for the people to engage themselves in other activities. So what they did they did the discovery of seals, metal objects, and gold and silver ornaments, statues, pottery. Tell us about Mesopotamian expertise in art and craft. Means the people were very good at making the metal objects through metals like iron, gold, silver, and even tin, copper was used. Means people also made ornaments from gold and silver. Then they also made cylindrical seals, which were made from the mud in the form of cylinder, and on those seals the different pictures or the symbols were engraved. So I am just showing you the cylindrical seals. These two are the at the left hand side. This is the cylindrical seal, and another there is a rectangular shaped seal is there, means the pictures are engraved. How these seals were made? Actually these seals were made from the clay, and that clay was baked into fire after engraving the pictures. So people of the Mesopotamian civilization acquired specialized skill in pottery, means they were good in the art of pot making, weaving hoti hai bunai, and metal work, mean they were able to utilize the different metals to make metallic objects, even weapons also, and they also use gold and silver to make the ornaments or the jewelry. Bleaching, dyeing, and preparation of paints, cosmetics, and perfume were also carried out. The Mesopotamians made cylindrical seeds which required considerable skill, means they had a good knowledge of shapes, so that's why only they were able to make cylindrical seal. The seals were engraved with images. So my dear student, then the last topic for today in this video is trade and commerce. Trade and commerce होता है व्यापार, means how they carried out their business. So trade and commerce flourished in Mesopotamia, making it a prosperous civilization. They traded in the Mediterranean countries and Egypt, means how they were able to do the trade with the Mediterranean country and Egypt, because they used a water transport system. For example, ships and boats. They probably had trade relation with contemporary Harappan civilization. Contemporary means during the Mesopotamian civilization, in the region of this Mediterranean countries and Egypt, there was present civilization, that was Harappan civilization. They had a relation with the Harappan civilization also, as means how it is proved that Mesopotamian civilization had a business relation with Harappan civilization, because Mesopotamian seals have been discovered at some valley sites, at some Indus Valley site, means where the Indus Valley civilization is located. There some archaeological objects have been obtained, or the seals have been discovered, and those seals show that the Mesopotamian people had the trade relations or the business relation with the Harappan civilization. The chief items of export, means how they had the business relation. They means the chief items of export were food grains and finished products. Among the food grains, there were the rice and the pulses or the wheat. The main imports were stone, timber, and metal ore. So my dear student, that's all for today, and in the next video I will be discussing the rest of the chapter. So till then, just take care and bye.